All right, guys, we're watching one video. Oh, maybe one. Maybe I most likely would watch one. All right, guys, we're watching the hip hop worst record deals. The 360 deal, bruh. You know, some people who get paid a lot of money on hip hop don't actually own the money to get paid. They have to repay it. They have to repay it back, and the way they have to repay it back is to make sales on their album. If they don't, they have to keep repaying them back somehow. Yeah.
Chasing your dreams, pursuing what you love, and becoming the world's next big thing, just to be exploited and left with little to nothing. Since the beginning of the music industry, major record labels have taken advantage of ambitious young artists, suckering them into contracts disguised as a gateway to fame, but ultimately leaving them shortchanged. Rappers have been no exception. The hip-hop industry is often known for taking advantage of numerous young MCs who lack knowledge about money and law, and left them stuck with some really bad contracts. My name is Luesta, and these are the worst record deals we've ever seen through hip-hop history. The horror stories of artists like Lil Boom, who took a ridiculous $7,500 advance and partially forfeited his rights, might lead you to believe that these atrocities could never happen to the biggest names in the game. However, cases like NBA YoungBoy prove that it doesn't matter how many times you're the #1 streamed artist on YouTube, and that it makes no difference if you were roped into signing a bad contract to begin with. I'm sure you all know who NBA YoungBoy is. The Baton Rouge rapper took the world by storm with his gritty and painfully honest tales of his life in the streets, and has refused to let go ever since. He has more than 30 billion total streams and over 100 RIAA certified releases, including 3 platinum or double platinum albums. But despite his success, he's only received a fraction of the reward, cementing his story as a cautionary tale for artists on the come up, and yet it's still not even close to the worst one in this video. Once YoungBoy rose to the highest peaks of the industry, OGs and media figures started looking at his deal and realizing that he wasn't getting what he was owed, which told them everything they needed to know about how the rap game is run.
Why did Atlantic basically tell YoungBoy, listen, after 22 albums that you dropped in a time period where we only contracted you to do 5, we'll negotiate and give you this amount of money, but we ain't giving you a part of your masters back. These are real things. What does that mean? When YoungBoy started, he's 17, he's 22 now. You don't understand what the going on. He's just putting out music.
Even you look at the guys now, that's probably big right now with social media. I just seen they had NBA YoungBoy. He's the biggest YouTuber influence as far as music. He did a deal for $2 million for 5 records. So think about that. You got the money up front, but imagine what they get. We have to teach that to the next generation. Look at the bigger picture. Don't just look at the now.
At a certain point, YoungBoy woke up, realized how unfair his deal was, and started fighting for his release. Beginning with the
Yeah, because if you think about it, you release 5 albums. They're big hits that sell very well, and then even when your hype is done, you're still the people that bought you for 2 million are gonna make way more than that because they own the masters to that song. If they use any music on, like, I don't know, for a movie, TV show, radio, or whatever, they can continue making money for years to come, non-stop making money. And that's why 2 million is not a great deal at all. I would like he should have negotiated his deal, like maybe get like a small cut, like maybe 15K, 20K around there. It's very small. Don't get me wrong. But like I want to own my masters pretty much. Well, a lot of companies will not do that, but that's the best go about it is to own your masters.
This simple post on his IG story from July of 2020 that read, "I said they can have the next 4 albums for free. All I want is my masters, and I still got told no. Dirty game." Among the top artists on streaming services today, Atlantic Records knew what they had and started getting creative in terms of how they classified his projects just to extend his time there.
Atlantic's making a killing off YoungBoy. But of course, the greatest thing they do is they only called 3 of them an album. Now in recording contracts, this is how it works. YoungBoy's dropped way more than 5 projects. Now why is he dropping those projects? Because that's his way of staying hot. He feeds the streets. He could have got bitchy if they're not gonna count one of these to my album requirement. I'm not dropping. They're gonna say, well, nigga, we told you only drop once a year.
Trapped in a deal that no amount of drops or hits could save him from, YoungBoy was left only reaping a portion of the prize he deserved. As one of YoungBoy's fans put it, people sign shitty deals when they're desperate. Then they blow up and realize just how bad their deal is. Following this, YoungBoy continued releasing, but did so while waging a war against Atlantic, with the intention of warning other rappers to avoid doing business with them. Don't sign to Atlantic. If you're an artist, they're not going to support you, especially if you live a certain way. After all that back and forth, it came as no surprise when Youngboy refused the $25 million deal that Atlantic offered him after his previous agreement expired. Beginning with 2023's I Rest My Case, Youngboy has been signed to an alleged multi-million-dollar deal with Motown, a place where he seems much happier. Youngboy handled his situation with patience, but there are instances where high-profile stars face so much label bullshit that they get burnt out, leaving the mic behind forever. This is the case with former Young Money signee Tyga. And after what happened to him, it's really no surprise that he stayed independent ever since. In his early career, Tyga was on his mixtape grind. After briefly signing to an indie label run by Gym Class Heroes' Travie McCoy, the Cali rapper caught the attention of Lil Wayne and Young Money, the subsidiary that Tunechi ran as part of his deal with Birdman's Cash Money and Republic. After getting the chance to show the public what he could do on tracks like Bedrock and Rack City, Tyga's debut album, Careless World: Rise of the Last King, was a major smash. But even though he should have been flying high, what the young artist didn't know at the time was that he was being screwed over big time on his label. After he decided to leave the label before the release of his fourth album, he was about to realize how much he messed up back then. Because as he prepared to leave Young Money, it would majorly cost him.
I'm on the road with Wayne. He's recording Carter 3, so I'm just in the sauce right now. We did Bedrock and was like, you know, you got to sign. This is going to be the single. I was like, all right, cool. So I
Hello
signed.
there,
I
are
didn't
you
even
doing
think about it.
are
I
you
didn't think
like-
twice. I had a lawyer.
No, I'm an artist. You know information what happened to Will Smith after the slap? He got a lot of hatred. He made Bad Boys 4 or 5, one of those two. And they came back and everybody loves him again because he started singing in boxing events. Everything's all fine with Will Smith. Everybody hated him for like a year, but it's all fine now. But no, I'm not a rapper. I'm doing art. I'm just watching this video because I'm a big hip hop fan, and so yeah, I'm just watching the video because yeah.
But like my lawyer at the time was the same lawyer that was representing Cash Money. It was already a bad thing from jump. I'm 17, 18, so I don't really know nothing about lawyers. And then I'm just like, cool, I'm rocking with Wayne. I'm on the bus with him every day. I'm having fun, so I wasn't really worried about it.
From 2015 onwards, Tyga has dropped music through his independent label, Last Kings and Empire. For a while, he was flopping hard. Even the assistance of Kanye West as an executive producer on a couple of projects couldn't save him. But with
Oh shit! I thought he was making a lot more money. Never mind. I was wrong. Oh no, wait. Was that because of his other stuff that he does? Never mind. But yeah, even Lil Wayne had a problem with his label too, as well. Like it became that much of a problem where he was at. Like I believe he finally got out of it, and that's why they couldn't release like the Carter. I believe it was 5 at the time or something. They couldn't like release it for such a long time. And I honestly thought that Birdman and Lil Wayne were actually father and son for a while, and it turns out they actually are not. Like, I was like, wait, what? What? So yeah, that came and talked to me, but yeah, I mean, like when you sign to a label, man, it can seem all fun and games until you look into the numbers. You're like, yo, where my money at? A lot of these rappers get ripped off, man. A lot of these rappers got really because you see like 2 million. Like, damn, that's a lot of money. Hell yeah, that changed my life, right? It's kind of like if you think about like one who did it right was like the Lion King voice actor. I know it's not music different, but the Lion King voice actor for Simba was gonna give like $1 million for the whole movie, and that's it. But the mom decided to go very low, like $100,000, something like that, and then he gets royalties for free for life, and that check comes in like every month because in clutch, and he made way more than just $1 million throughout time.
With his 2019 project Legendary and its smash single, Taste, Tyga finally mounted a legit comeback, overcoming the odds stacked against him.
She can get a taste. She can get a taste.
His momentum stalled again soon after, and following a short spell as an OF creator, he returned in 2023 on a collaboration project with YG. While the track didn't exactly set the world alight, at least he's getting 100% of what he's owed now that he's freed himself from the legal dispute over his first deal. But for someone who was more of a one-hit wonder than expected, failing to live up to your promise can really leave you in a bad spot. When it comes to artists who know that kind of pain, few of them have been as vocal about their misfortunes as Kreayshawn. If you're not familiar, Kreayshawn was once projected to be...
Damn, man. She was ahead of her time when you think about it. Let me know what about the universe. I'm not a big fan of the DC universe comics as much. I'm a fan of some certain characters like Static Shock, Batman, Red Hood. But I'm not a really big fan of like the whole universe as much. But Superman's cool too. But yeah, back with her is yeah, she was ahead of her time. When she released her music, it was very widely popular, right? Before it became like this genre style of music was like became more like mainstream and norm. Yeah, she got screwed over ever since she got like I think she got pregnant or something like that, and then she got tried to get out of her label for a super long time. Like she lost a lot of money, and she barely got out of it. But it's like already like her time has passed already. It's like you know what I mean. And what I mean by like her time has passed is like to be like at the top. You know, that's just how entertainment works.
A huge star. A young white female who brought a unique flavor to the game, Cray caught fire with early hits like Gucci Gucci and Bumpin' Bumpin' back in 2011. Today, a lot of fans feel that, for better or worse, these tracks were ahead of their time and hinted at the direction music was heading in. Imagine if this dropped today. TikTok servers would overload and explode. Courtesy of her huge momentum, the polarizing rapper found herself with a deal from Atlantic, a repeat offender in today's video, and as you'll see, they will only get more and more ruthless. After she was given a $1 million advance, it would take until September of the following year for her debut album, Something About Cray, to drop. It peaked at number 112 upon release, and the only tracks that made any impact had already been released. It was simply a flop. Perhaps one that people should have seen coming. After this short-lived adventure, people swept her aside, and she went largely undiscussed. Today, she has yet to release another project with the label. Since then, Kreayshawn has rallied against the contract they put her in, and claimed to have seen almost no money for her most successful tracks.
Playing Gucci Gucci, playing Go Hard. That shit don't go to my pocket.
You don't get any money from that.
No.
Not any like, oh, you get a check for $100.
I literally get a check for $100.
Literally.
Yeah, from ASCAP like every 3 months.
To make matters worse, Cray wasn't only losing out on money, but in turn owes thousands to her label, even as Gucci Gucci reached platinum status in 2023. Crazy that I will owe Sony $800K on one album for 10 plus years. It's sounding fishy. I know they're eating off me till this day, but platinum? Still in the same money debt? 10 years? Math, not mathing. Here's more numbers. I swear my debt started at $800K when I saw it 10 years ago, and it has barely changed. Sometimes I even swear it gets higher. In Kreayshawn's case, we see what can happen when an advance is never recouped. She's now stuck trying to free herself from a debt she could never repay. However, not all issues with labels stem from money. For some, creative differences can create even worse predicaments. And for Lupe Fiasco, this was exactly what he dealt with under Atlantic. Way back in the day, Lupe was just a spitter.
Bro, yeah. He does independent music now. That's why he's not in the mainstream no more. I pretty recently released Samurai. Yeah, he's doing phenomenally well on the underground scene. But yeah. When he was doing his albums, Food and Liquor, the Uncool, holy shit, phenomenal work. But yeah, man, he got a pretty bad
from Chicago who seemed like he was next up. Renowned for his incredible technical abilities, Lupe made good on that promise with his debut album Food and Liquor and its follow-up The Cool, which gave him the biggest hit ever on the Matthew Santos assisted Superstar.
Yeah, a fresh cool young Lou trying to cash his microphone check 212. Wanna believe my own hype, but it's too untrue.
Now that he had given the label a taste of the commercial success he could bring them, they wanted all they could squeeze out of him. In turn, this led to their relationship falling apart and one of the most talented spitters of a generation getting majorly mistreated by his label. I once asked Lior for my masters in exchange for signing a 360 deal, and he said, "Do I want them in a suitcase to carry around?" A greatest hit from among all the other wild stuff some of these white record execs have said to me with a straight face in private. Around the time he was crafting his third album, Lasers, the label started putting major pressure on him to get things moving along. The whole relationship was disintegrating because he refused to play ball with their demands.
I was also told, because you didn't sign this 360 deal, we may or may not push your record. So when Shining Down came out and you didn't hear it on the radio station, it's because they never took it to a radio station.
As things continued to get tense, fans even organized protests outside of their offices to force Atlantic to drop the project. Yet, Atlantic continued to screw him over, even taking the original version of Airplanes and giving it to B.O.B. instead, robbing him of a hit song.
I jump to defend. I'm waged with a page. My pen's mightier than them, and I got missiles on the stage.
Lupe would see continued success with the label, including a #1 album and multiple projects, but was ultimately forced to sabotage his career to regain his freedom.
Not like lasers. I knew that there was gonna be some bullshit. So I was like, you know what? I will never, ever, ever, as long as I'm on this label, give this label like my heart, like what I really. If you're working with somebody, they have to like show you some love, right? So I took an L.
Since 2017's Drogas Light, Lou has been dropping what he wants, and fans can rest assured knowing they'll get the rest of his projects in all their intellectual glory. But he's not the only artist who had to scratch and claw to regain their artistic freedom. In the case of Megan Thee Stallion, she was cheated out of millions before she could call her music her own. Signed to the label 1501, owned by former MLB player Carl Crawford, Megan's early career was regularly stunted by 1501's micromanagement. Before long, her annoyance churned into internet outcry.
I want to tell y'all that 1501 trying to tell me I can't put out no music. Y'all don't see no music from Megan Thee Stallion? It's because 1501 don't want to drop that music. I know everything that was in that contract. So when I got with Roc Nation, I got management, I got real lawyers, and they was like, do you know that this is in your contract? And I was like, oh, damn.
As Meg attracted more fame, she earned a management deal at Roc Nation.
Really?
It was during the legal battle to get her out of her contract that his corrupt elements began to reveal themselves. The lawsuit spells out what Megan considers to be the worst parts of the deal she has with 1501. She says that she got a $10,000 advance when she signed, and that the label gets 60% of her recording income. Of the 40%, she still has to pay engineers, mixers, and other artists who featured on her tracks. Megan says they're supposed to give her a statement on what she's owed, but that their accounting has been purposefully and deceptively vague. The suit went on to reveal that Megan has over 1 billion streams and 300 individual track downloads. That translates to around $7 million, while her ex-label has only paid her $15,000. After a lot of back and forth, they finally settled things in 2023, and by October of that year, she announced the launch of her very own Hot Girl Productions, backed by a distribution deal through Warner. Megan's online tirade, backed by her massive success, landed her a pretty admirable outcome. But other artists have had to take much more extreme measures to get their way.
Because now she's doing collabs everywhere. She even did one in Japan.
The story of TLC is a perfect example, as they had to resort to gang-like methods in order to shake a terrible deal off their backs. One of the most popular girl groups of the 90s, TLC's Chili, T-Boz, and Lisa Left Eye Lopez all signed deals when they were barely in their 20s. What they didn't realize is that their contract with LaFace Records gave them a measly 56 cents per album sold, which also had to be split 3 ways. This comes out at around $200,000 for every million albums sold. On top of that, TLC received delayed royalty payments and eventually had to file for bankruptcy despite having grossed millions. After staying silent on the matter, TLC finally hit a breaking point. After they swept the Grammys, they explained that they were in a bad spot and how they ended up in it.
I'll put it to you this way. We are the biggest selling female group ever. 10 million albums worldwide. We have worked very hard. We have been in this business for 5 years. And we are broke as broke can be.
I can't go into everything right now, but trust me, you can sell 10 billion albums and be broke if you have greedy people behind you. Well, you know, contracts and stuff is kind of hard to handle business when you're stuck in contracts that say certain things.
It didn't take a heated phone call or hiring fiery lawyers. The ladies of TLC took Clive Davis, the head of the label's parent company, and held him hostage to negotiate a better deal. We held the record company hostage with guns with bullets, because TLC had generated $75 million on Crazy Sexy Cool, and they gave us $50,000 a piece. And I was like, what the hell? So of course, Lisa was the ringleader, we had a limo driver, and he was the getaway car. The story immediately made headlines, but even with the insane actions that TLC had to take, young artists continue to fall victim to contracts like this. For example, NLE Choppa became one of hip-hop's biggest hypocrites after the label got to his head. And if you want to hear about that story, you can click the video on the screen.
Nearly every...
I do not remember Champa. Yeah, a lot of new rappers obviously are getting more like.
Imagine you spend your whole
are getting like ripped up more than ever, and the craziest thing is like the artists could actually flip this around, where the labels need the artists, the artists don't need the labels as much. Like back in the day, because back in the day was music labels needed artists, not the way around. And the labels flipped it around on them. But nowadays you can do it again with the power of social media, because you can make a lot of numbers with just social media alone, TikTok, Instagram, uh, Twitter, YouTube, whatever. You can make a lot of money and make a lot of streams away from a label and own all your masters. So if artists are really start really thinking about a lot of this stuff they're doing, and think about more in the business sense, I feel like a lot of these rappers are like come up and like if they just go like take a 1 semester class of pretty much of like business, they will understand, especially music business. They will understand, or even look at YouTube videos. They will understand how it works and how they can use it to their own benefit instead of getting ripped off and owe a lot of money. It's crazy. 360 deal just means just you're being circled by a shark. So what I'm learning so far is never sign with Atlantic Records. Signed to OVO under Young Money, under Young Cash Money, under Republic Records, under UMG. That's probably not even the worst example. Atlanta acting like a DreamWorks main villain. This one Atlanta's trolling YB. Yeah. 30 plus albums, and yeah, he's still trapped like a rat. Yeah. Yep. So this has been hella. Yeah, he's been very consistent lately. F labels. Even indie labels could be very very messed up too as well. By the way, like even them could do it. Also, hearing all these streaming numbers and how many views they get proves the one thing that absolutely nothing, because look how they get very little back pay or ownership. Yeah, that's the big part. Even if you make like let's say, okay, even if you make like 50% to 30% of your of what you used to make, right? Like what I mean by that is like you you let's say you got a lot of numbers on streaming, right? And you make like, I don't know, let's keep it simple, 1 million, right? I know more money for that, but 1 million, right? Now out of the million, you get paid for only the 2,000 or something like that. You get like a fraction of that. But and then by yourself, you won't get like a million streams, but let's say you get about 100,000, no, like 250,000, like quarter of a mil, right? Now, yes, you make it less, but at least you make all your money. Like you make 100% of the money, and not only that, you own your masters, which is the biggest important part. It's like by owning masters, guys, you can make money on anything you make, anytime, anywhere, and that's pretty much it. That's pretty much it. Like you can make money as for infinite amount of money, technically, right? So like because you own your masters, that's a big part of component about going to like be yourself kind of thing at one point. So like Tiger got lucky, Megan Thee Stallion got lucky, but I don't even know if she owns her masters though. I don't know about that, but still, like that's the best case scenario. It's like I want to own my masters. Like if a label is somehow like they've come to you like ask them I want to own my masters. I want to put in this contract when I leave, I get my masters. I don't know. But I do understand like the pressure of it too, and also them putting a lot of money in your face, like like a $2 million that could change your life. Yeah, I could tell it's very tempting.